Okay, in this lesson, we're going to be looking at evaluating expressions, and my directions say evaluate for the given value. And you can see on problem 1 here, I'm given the expression 3a minus 4b, and I'm told that a is going to equal 5 and b equals 2. So this 3a means 3 times a. So when I put 5 in place of that a, I'm going to have 3 times 5. And when I put 2 in place of the b, I'll have 4 times 2. So now remember my order of operations. The please excuse my dear Aunt Sally says that I have to do parentheses first. And even though I have parentheses here, there's nothing to do inside these parentheses. So then I go on to the next step, exponents. There's no exponents. And then I do multiplication and division from left to right. So I multiply 3 times 5 is 15. I multiply the 4 times 2, which is 8. And then I'm only left with this subtraction. So 15 minus 8 is 7. For problem 2, I'm going to substitute 3 in place of the x. So 5 times 3 squared plus 3 times 3. And again, I'm looking at my order of operations. Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. So I look to do the parentheses first. There's nothing inside the parentheses for me to do. Then I look for exponents. So here you can see I have 3 squared. 3 squared means 3 times 3, which is 9. Now I could go ahead and multiply this 3 times 3 out, but I'm just going to go ahead and leave it like this for my first step because I want to be sure that you understand that what I've done here is just this step right here, working with exponents. Now I'm going to go on to the multiplication. So 5 times 9 is 45. And I have 3 times 3, which is 9. So now I have addition. The final answer here is 54. Okay, problem 3. I'm going to replace the x with 10. And I'm going to replace the y with 4. And I have to do these order of operations. Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. There's no parentheses, there's no exponents. I do have division. 20 divided by 4 is 5, and then I can add those two numbers and get 15. Okay, in this last problem, I'm going to be replacing the x with 2, and I'm going to replace the y with 3. So I'm going to have 3 times 2 plus 2 times 3 squared minus 4. And that's going to be divided by 5 times 2 times 3. Once I've substituted, then I need to be following my order of operations. And in my first step says parentheses. I don't have anything to do inside these parentheses, but remember in my last video that I had said that parentheses really should probably be changed to grouping symbols. And this division bar is a grouping symbol. I have to do everything in the numerator separately from everything in the denominator and wait till my final step before I simplify this fraction. So my first step here is really to deal with this exponent of 3 squared. It's going to have 3 times 2 plus 2 times 9 minus 4. Now in the denominator, I can work on it separately from the numerator. So I can go ahead and multiply down here. And remember, the multiplication is commutative and associative. So I can multiply any of these two numbers together that I want. I'm just going to go ahead and multiply 5 times 2 and get 10. So then I'll have 10 times 3 in my denominator. Okay, so now my next step is to do the multiplication. So in the numerator, I have 3 times 2, which is 6, 2 times 9, which is 18, and then in the denominator, I'm going to have 30. The numerator, I have addition and subtraction, and I do that from left to right. So 6 plus 18 is 24. And 24 minus 4 is 20. So you have 20 over 30 for that final fraction, and that can simplify to 2/3.